But you'll probably swing them in there next week, especially if, now you get into the question, do you really play him and Gallup, or do you just look at these other receivers that you're making decisions on and put them into some situations they wouldn't be in otherwise? But then, I always wrestle with this too, because then it's like, okay, well now you're judging Gilbert, not giving him a complete hand, and you want to have complete and utter faith that he's your backup quarterback. Well, shouldn't you give him some of the same tools that you're going to give Dak to work with as well? So those are the sort of things they sort through. But if those key guys play at all tonight, it's not, it's only going to be a series or two at the most. And this is kind of new, because this is Mike McCarthy's first preseason as the Cowboys coach. And as we talked about earlier, when he's looking at who to put out there when and if Dak plays in the preseason, everyone will be out there then, but that doesn't necessarily mean everyone's going to be out there tonight.
Yeah, that will be interesting to see where they go. I guess what I keep coming back to is I'm curious how many jobs are actually in play. For instance, on that offensive line, when you go to preseason in the training camp, it feels like much of the roster has already been decided. And I hate to sound like an old man, but there was a time where jobs were really up for play, now it feels like it's predetermined due to contracts and guaranteed cap money, and therefore most everybody else is just there in the event somebody's knee blows out.
Yeah, and especially, the offensive side of the ball is the strength of this football team. So how many really unresolved positions are there? I would say really the only thing that's minimally questionable at this point is, have you seen enough from Connor Williams, and is he better at center than Tyler Biotic, where you put him as a starting center and Connor McGovern at his left guard spot? I would say you have not seen enough for that to take place. So I think you're just going to go into the season with Tyler Biotic at center, Connor Williams as your left guard. So, but to me, that's the only position fluxed, on the offensive side of the ball. Now, defensively, while I think most of the starters are set, to me, that's a little more interesting, because you are implementing a new system. You want to build confidence, especially from where you came from last season and how it all unraveled. And you're looking at a lot of different packages you're going to play, too. And so it's not just about starters on defense. You're doing so much in so many different packages. You want to put guys in those spots probably tonight, and then start to pare it down and go, okay, this guy can do this package, but he's not ready for this one, so let's just work him at this right now from the third preseason game on. So I think this will be the last preseason game where you see guys in packages that you may not see them during the regular season.
What about the Micah Parsons phone call conversation that we caught on Hard Knocks, where DQ, in a series of F-bombs, promised him that he was going to get more playing time this week than last week? I would imagine that no matter how badly the kid wants to play, you still got to kind of have put the kid gloves on him moving forward, because, as we just talked about, this is more about remaining healthy than anything else.
It is, but he's a classic example, too, of you're using him in so many different packages. How many packages will you use him going into the season, and do you want to start to pare that down a little bit as well? There's another difference in tonight's game that you didn't have last Thursday in Canton as well, in that you're not going to have a practice that you're treating as a game 48 hours later. Really, McCarthy and the coaching staff were planning for 2 games last time and limited a lot of work. I think especially on the defensive side of the ball, you're going to see those players stay out there much longer. When I say much longer, maybe into the second quarter than they did last week in Canton, because you're not going to just see Micah Parsons for one series. He's going to be out there. And here's an interesting one, too, that my coworker Michael Gelkin and I, as we cover this game tonight, we were talking about it a little bit ago, and the question was, who is the second best defender on this defense right now? And I'm not so so sure it's not Micah Parsons already. And we may be saying he's the best defender before the season is done. But I think that kind of shows the type of impact he's had here in camp and how they're using him.
Man, that says a lot, doesn't it? It also...
what do you think, Bob?
Well...
who would you say is the second best? And look, you're projecting here, obviously, in this situation.
Okay.
Trayvon Diggs is probably in the conversation as well.
Trayvon Diggs is in the conversation. And Randy Gregory should be in the conversation before too long. And then, yes, you would hope that one of the veteran linebackers would factor in there. But you often don't take their replacement at number 12 and turn down the 5th year of their rookie contract if you felt great about where they are.
No, exactly. Yeah.
And what better example than the last time they played the Cardinals to understand the state of this defense until they prove otherwise.
Oh, exactly. And so I think you're going to see. If you're looking for answers or great proficiency on the offensive side of the ball tonight, I don't think you're going to get that. I imagine Ezekiel Elliott's not going to play. Amari Cooper's not going to play. Blake Jarwin may be out there for a series, maybe not. I think he'll want to get a little bit of work in coming back off that injury. But the defensive side of the ball is where I'm really interested. The other thing is, too, for Cowboys fans, I know there's great consternation about whether or not Garrett Gilbert actually is a backup quarterback to Dak Prescott. So you want to see something from him tonight. If he has 2 preseason games, even with his limited hand, and say you're looking at 6 preseason possessions where he led them to 1 field goal, you're probably going to be saying, is he really the guy going in? So I think it's important for him to have a good game tonight, a good command to face.
Well, we will be watching, and then we can chop it up on Monday. How about that?
Get you a nap in the third quarter.
I will. I may do that.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, Josh.
That is...
See you, buddy. Have a good weekend.
David Moore in a Ranch Report. We'll talk more about the Cowboys after E-News, and that is next.
It is. The South Park deal that we talked about a couple of days ago and D's ago for Matt Parker and astounding.
Award-winning or e-break-worthy ticket content is with you 24/7 on our podcast page at theticket.com. If you're taking a road trip, stuck on a flight, or listen at odd hours, we got you. Subscribe to all the Ticket podcast feeds and get the best moments from each show each day on the Ticket Top 10 feed. Subscribe to the Ticket feed for all new podcast-only segments and shows, like Diamond Pod, our limited series Meet the Cowboys Rookies, or in-depth draft previews. Plus, we'll spoon-feed you why today doesn't suck every day. Ticket podcasts are on Apple iTunes, Spotify, the Sports Day Talk app, and on theticket.com. From Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310, The Ticket.
Academy Sports and Outdoors has you covered from head to toe with the best from Adidas. From balls to backpacks and apparel to footwear, get a fresh Adidas look and gear up to get back to sports with Adidas at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Look Dine-In Cinemas is now open just off Northwest Highway. Experience movies the way they're meant to be seen, on the big screen. Watch Free Guy, Respect, and Don't Breathe 2. It's a free popcorn weekend this Thursday through Sunday the 15th. Tickets at lookcinemas.com. Lookcinemas.com.
You get the most for your lease with an Autoplex lease, yeah.
This is Chuck Cooperstein, the radio voice of the Mavericks, here for Autoplex Leasing. When it's time to choose where you'll lease your next car, you don't have to spend hours at a dealership. Let Autoplex Leasing handle it for you and make it easy with their exclusive Flex Lease. And their phone number is as easy as their leases. Call 234-1234 from any local area code or see them online at Autoplex.com.
Autoplex lease, oh yeah.
The pits are lit. Rudy's Barbecue, located at 35 West and Western Center in Fort Worth, is back and open for business. Head to Fort Worth today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue at 35 West and Western Center in Fort Worth's grand reopening. Rudy's, real Texas barbecue.
If you have cancer, you have a powerful choice. An advanced cancer treatment available right here in North Texas at Texas Center for Proton Therapy. Proton therapy precisely targets your cancer, sparing healthy tissue for fewer side effects. No doctor's referral is needed, so visit TexasProtons.com to find out if you're a candidate. Powerful cancer treatment, a powerful choice. proton therapy at Texas Center for Proton Therapy.
The Classic State Fair of Texas is in full swing at Classic Chevrolet and Grapevine. Enjoy the ride with Texas True Pricing. We never charge more than MSRP. Punch your ticket today. Find new roads.
Enjoy the difference.
When Heidi Andrews worked at another jewelry store and heard all the great things about Diamonds Direct, she thought it had to be too good to be true.
You know, I didn't believe it at first. I thought maybe it was all talk. But, you know, I definitely had clients that would come over and they would show me the receipts. I was like, wow, you got a really great deal and it's a beautiful piece. Good job. I had a little Diamonds Direct envy. I was very jealous.
That's when Heidi knew she had to leave the ordinary store and follow her customers to Diamonds Direct, where she can now offer more of everything, especially more value.
I have more to offer all of my custom they need, any diamonds they need, any gemstones they need. We have it all. We have it at the best prices. We have it at the best quality. Here at Diamonds Direct, things are not too good to be true. Everything is true. When we say it, we give it to you, and you get exactly what you're asking for, or more.
Diamonds Direct. It's all true. Come see for yourself. Official jeweler of the Cowboys on Preston Road and in Frisco.
This Stick It Up Your Tailpipe traffic report brought to you by White Claw Hard Seltzer.
In Fort Worth, southbound 35W at Rendon Crawley, there's an accident that's partially blocking the entrance ramp. Traffic is stop and go from Seminary Drive, and there's a 30-minute delay. In Arlington, eastbound 30 at 360, got a wreck that has traffic slow from Center Street. About a 10-minute delay here. Then in Dallas, westbound 635, a crash at 35 has only the 2 right lanes able to get by. You'll start seeing brake lights around Marsh, and there's a close to a 20-minute delay. Then westbound 20 at Houston School Road, there's a disabled 18-wheeler blocking the left lane. I'm Junior Caruso with the ticket. Stick it up your tailpipe traffic.
Brought to you by Lone Star Toyota of Louisville.
You could be driving Toyota.
Get summer savings at Lone Star Toyota of Louisville with a huge inventory of used vehicles and savings on all maintenance, like $20 off synthetic oil changes.
Drive a Lone Star Toyota.
See Lone Star Toyota of Louisville for details.
The ticker.
Ticker's a service of Maestro Dobel Tequila and Randy Essenberg, thefathersattorney.com. Cowboys versus the Cardinals in Arizona tonight in preseason game number 2. After an awful showing for the Dallas defense last season, new coordinator Dan Quinn says things seem to be moving in the right direction this year.
I like the progress that a number of the players have made, especially the youngest one. They should improve the fastest, but it's a new system for everybody. And so I expect over the next 20 days, more improvement, more speed, more opportunities at the football, and if we can play that way, then we'll set ourselves up.
Kickoff is set for 9 on CBS 11. Tonight at Globe Life Field, the Rangers begin a weekend series with the Athletics. Oakland's won 7 straight, 11 of their last 13. The A's a game and a half back of the Astros in the American League West. Diamond Talk on the ticket afterwards. Trevor Bauer's administrative leave extended through August 20th by Major League Baseball and the Players Union as investigators check into allegations of sexual misconduct against the Dodgers pitcher. Bauer's been on paid leave since July 2nd. That is the Ticket Ticker service of Lava Cantina in the Colony. Tonight, Lance Bass hosts a throwback show with Pop 2K with performances from O-Town, Ryan Cabrera, and LFO. Tomorrow, check out tributes Rise Against the Machine, Elite, and 411. Grab tickets for all the great shows at lavacantina.com. I'm Ty Walker on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310 The Ticket.
Norm Hitzges and Donovan Lewis invade the ticket Monday from 10 till noon on the Norm and D Invasion on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310 The Ticket.
Summertime.
4:56. Here on the Hard Line, into the Power Hour we go. Fox Sports has announced that Thursday's Field of Dreams game, Corby. Okay, sorry. I didn't know you were wandering into the sports space.
Oh, we love sports.
I like
it's
it.
combining.
Well, then I will stand down. I will not reveal the details. Although I'd like to play the guessing game. So would you let the crew guess? And then we're going to, at 5:15, we'll get into the Cowboys. That might be some Emmitt Smith talk, believe it or not.
Hell yeah.
We're actually going to break down Barry or Emmett.
Come back. Come back.
And then Friday Fun at 5:30 and a lot of good stuff here. But right now, let us stop down for sponsors.
Metter Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram and All Pro Foundation Repair.
Just about had a John McKay, Dale Hansen there a moment there, but let's step aside and introduce Corby Corb of the Tick Tick.
Here is the Cobra. Here's Cobra.
Have I told you guys the story about walking in on my grandmother farting?
I've never heard that one.
No.
All right.
Maybe that's
I'll lead E-News. I'll lead E-News with it. It was Thanksgiving. The year would have been 1981.
Okay.
Maybe 82, but I'm going with 81.
Uh-huh.
And my grandmother walked out to the garage. Okay?
Okay.
Because I was in there and she was our freezer. We had a freezer, you know, like an old school freezer. It was out in the garage, and she was looking for something, and my mother said, "Mom, you need to go out to the freezer and get that."
Okay.
And so she walks out to the freezer, and she was probably 70 years old at the time. And so I thought, my 10-year-old, 11-year-old brain, let's scare Grandma. All right.
Okay.
So she went to the garage. I was going to come up behind her and like ah, yeah, exactly. So she goes in the garage, opens the door, and leaves it open, and I'm tiptoeing behind her, and I am mere feet, Norm, feet, from grabbing her and just scaring the bejesus out of her when she rips a stepbrother-style fart walking out to the freezer.
That's so awesome.
And I stop, and I start backtracking like a ninja. No idea.
It was so loud.
You got in and out without her even knowing?
Yes. No one ever knew, and I never told anybody until I shared it on the radio. Gross.
That'd be funny.
She didn't raise a leg or anything, did she?
No, it was very casual. It was like a
McDowell.
It was like a horse.
She didn't blue flame it, did she?
You know, horses are soups cash about all that.
Sure.
That's kind of what she was.
Do you think she...
Never missed a beat.
Do you think she used that trick regularly? The sneak out to the garage?
Gotta go to the freezer.
Just fire out some relief and then go back inside.
I think women that were born in 1910, like, it's not like free, they're not free and easy now, but women back then especially, you don't do that. You don't pump your own gas, and you don't expel your own gas.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a good story, man.
Thank you. All right, so as John McKay said before the segment started, Fox is very pleased with the ratings for the game. We mentioned that in the 18 to 49 bracket, 5.1 million people were watching. Now that number has been bumped up to almost 6 million viewers across Fox and Fox Deportes. It is the most watched regular season baseball game in 16 years, and I would love to know what the hell was going on 16 years ago. Was there some record-setting game in 2005?
I'm working on it, but
like
man,
a perfect game, or they just randomly was on TV, or did Nolan come back for one more game that I don't remember?
I can't think of what that would be. That was the year the White Sox, ironically enough, played the Astros in the World Series, right?
There you go. Chicago and New York ranked as the two top markets, and it was also the most streamed regular season baseball game.
So, your wish will come true, because now they're going to run it into the ground. There will be a Field of Dreams game every night.
I'm very much looking forward to next week, too, because I imagine by next week around this time, Amazon and Apple and whatever services you can stream films on, maybe Peacock, I'm interested to know the Field of Dreams numbers, because they will have something like it went up at 5 million% or something like that over the last week. Because let's face it, half the country, you may have watched that game last night, but probably over half the country, hell, 70% of the country's never seen that movie.
Yeah.
Right? And that, to me, that's the, like, what is this? What are they even doing? Like, if I'm 20 years old, no doubt I've never seen this movie before. I'm like, what's the big deal? And 100% I'm watching that movie.
Do you agree,
Maybe
though?
not after our review yesterday.
Do you agree, though, that you don't have to know the movie at all to think a baseball game in a cornfield is pretty awesome?
No doubt, but you also want to know why it's even happening in the first place, right?
Probably.
Okay, so a couple of days ago, we mentioned that Trey Parker and Matt Stone had signed a $935 million deal with Viacom. And an all-in all-encompassing deal, if you will, that gave them their production studio, creative license to create new shows. It obviously includes South Park. There's a lot that was involved in it, but it's one of the biggest deals ever in an era when you see or hear about these deals for content creators quite a bit. This is one of the biggest ones, and it's also a couple of guys that are very well known to us and everybody else that's followed this show for a long time, because South Park is huge. It's in its 23rd year. So I was thinking that, they signed almost $1 billion deal, and that's going to be spread out over 6 years or whatever it is, and that they'll get paid a lump sum every year. This was a cash deal where basically they both pocketed $450 million.
How's that negotiation go? Did they ask for 500 each? And
dude,
they thought they really talked them down to 450.
So at the time, whenever they were first doing their first deal with residuals and things like that for South Park back in the mid-aughts, they did something unheard of. They signed a deal with Viacom that gave both of them, Parker and Stone, a 50-50 split with Comedy Central on all digital revenue. Again,
awesome.
At the time,
yes,
that's nothing.
Like, what does it even mean?
You're right, but they were smart enough to realize that this is where it's all headed. I think Viacom was like, yeah, that's all you want? Sure, we'll do that. And now, that's damn near everything. So, think about this. In 2019, HBO Max spent $550 million to be the exclusive streaming hub of South Park. The whole 23-season run. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They got $550 million. This is a separate deal for $1 billion.
That's like one of the greatest Hollywood stories ever told. That show generated that wealth.
Yes, 100%.
Because you would watch an episode and you'd be looking at the crude drawing and
look like construction paper.
It looks like they're joking. The animation in South Park looks like it's a parody of what animation should. It's very unique, but not in a wow, they changed the game, everything comes to life. No, it's almost the opposite. And yet, it took over the world.
Yeah. And now they're billionaires.
So do you think on like HBO Max, in terms of what's the destination for people that fire that up, is South Park like on the gold medal stand?
100%.
You think? Like even with Friends and even with, do they also have the Simpsons library?
Okay.
It's Disney Plus.
Okay.
I will say,
Disney Plus has all Simpsons.
when you said the gold medal stand, I was just envisioning 1, 2, and 3. So I would imagine Friends is probably number 1. I would think, because I thought the money they paid for Friends was more than this, but now that these numbers are coming to light, this may be more.
And the beauty of animation, of course, is that there's a very small cast to pay.
It's a small, well...
Now you gotta pay,
There are more people working on on animated shows working.
Yeah, but I guess the genius has always been characters don't age, and so you don't have a finite window. Yeah,
it's endless.
They can go on forever.
And how many voices?
Generations that have been into this.
Yeah,
Gen
for
X,
sure.
Y, and Z.
Yep.
Incredible. What a story.
How many voices? You talk about paying voices. How many voices do Parker and Stone do?
Well,
Are they paying themselves?
I was going to say, I bet you that is what future animation after a certain point, maybe seeing the Simpsons contract situations, I bet you a lot of creators just said, screw that. We are doing every voice, the two of us.
Think of Seth MacFarlane. He does
and the
2/3 of the voices on that show.
Yes, and the
on Family Guy.
The genius is that the voices don't even have to be that great, because that's part of the joke is the voices are crude, the drawings are kind of crude, it's all sort of...
Do you have all that?
Yeah, all the main characters are either Trey Parker or Matt Stone. They've got guest stars that come on, but
Like you built a whole roster of a basketball team that's you. Like you're just, you're paying yourself again.
Dude, Trey is Stan, Randy, Grandpa Timmy, Ned, Santa Claus, Mr. Mackey, Officer Bar Brady, PC Principal. Matt is Kyle Broflowski, Butters Stott, Craig, Stuart, Terrence, Jesus Christ, Kevin Stoley, Pip, and Saddam Hussein. And Jimbo.
He really has a range, you can tell.
Dude, you're right.
He's Butters.
Butters. By the way, for those who watch South Park and for those who are golf fans, a friend of mine pointed this out, and it's made me laugh every time I hear Butters and this guy. Butters and Jack Nicklaus sound exactly alike.
Are you serious?
Current day Jack Nicklaus, yes, and Butters.
We might need to make that into a segment.
The disappointing part about that 6 Days to Air documentary you've seen is they don't really do the voices when they're recording. They kind of just like half do them and then they edit it whenever they're done.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't even sound like they're trying to really do it.
So it's
they
not
kinda
really
just talk.
Right.
They also have their little darling daughter in there cussing.
Dude.
Have you seen that, Doc?
I haven't seen it, no.
I think
It's great.
You'd like it very much.
Really?
And then you'd know why we all got obsessed with Human Centipede, too.
Oh, God. So, talk about streaming Friends and this show. I know my kid, my 15-year-old, has made it all the way through Friends and almost all the way through South Park strictly on HBO Max. So, and I don't think he's probably, outside of a movie that we'll watch every now and then, nothing else. HBO to him is not this crazy movie vehicle that came out in 1980. It is just the hub for those two shows.
Wow.
So it works.
Yeah.
Whatever they're paying, it works.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So much money out there.
Dude, it's unreal. It's unreal. So what we do in the shadows, our favorite little sitcom.
They must be so happy because of the U.S. winning gold a week ago today.
Dude.
Nandor must just be over the moon.
Do you think that Nandor, what's his name? I already forgot. We had him on the air.
Kayvon
Barksdale. No.
Point to you for sure. That was well played.
Kayvon Novak.
Yeah, Kayvon Novak.
Yeah.
Kayvon Novak. He was awesome when we had him on a couple of months ago, or hell, was it in January?
Something like that.
Yeah, because we were asking him when they were going to start. Maybe it was in the fall, and he said they were going to start filming in January.
That sounds right.
Yes.
It's definitely time for our annual vampire visit.
Dude, so I'm going to have to revisit the last couple episodes of the season, too.
I agree.
Right?
We
Before
just
this
have to
comes
watch
out.
them all again.
I would love that. But anyway, do you think that after the Americans won, that his phone blew up? Like, yo, bro.
I hope so. I hope so. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's a great comedy about vampires in real life, and one of the chief vampires in this show was obsessed with the 92 U.S. Dream Team. It makes no sense, but neither does the rest of the show, and it's funny.
And he's got a jersey.
Yes.
Whose number does he have? I can't remember. Was it Karl Malone or something weird like that?
Do you remember?
It's out there somewhere, but yeah, he was obsessed with the Dream Team, this vampire that's been alive for 1,000 years or
Yes,
whatever.
because wasn't he trying to get citizenship?
Yeah.
They were in like the passport office or something with the Dream Team jersey on.
Oh, dude, we gotta get him on. We gotta get one of them on if it's Kayvon again.
Oh, he had
Honey butter. There's a honey butter biscuit in there too. Those are good. Those are good too. Nah.